Welcome to 60 Minutes. Today, me and my camera crew will descend into the fiery pits of hell to speak with four of literature's most famous sinners. Among them, the murderous King Macbeth, the deceitful and cruel Lady Macbeth, the irresponsible and neglectful father Troy Maxon, and the affluent and adulterous Jay Gatsby. We will ask them to reflect upon their lives, to expand upon their desires and ambitions, and whether they reach them at the time of their death. So, Lady Macbeth, what was going through your head when you first learned about what the witches told your husband?
Well, when my husband first sent me news about his encounter with the three witches, I could barely contain myself. I was so jubilant at just the thought of becoming queen. And when I heard that King Duncan was coming to my house, I knew that it was fate that had brought him here, so that my husband could kill him, gain his title, and I would finally become queen.
Did you have any second thoughts before killing King Duncan?
Well, the cowardice of my husband almost ruined my plans, but I couldn't let something like that stand between me and royalty. I wanted it too bad. So with a little persuasion, I was able to sway Macbeth's opinion on the matter, and after the deed was done and I had been named queen, I didn't desire for anything else.
Why did you kill yourself?
Well, after a while on top, being queen, I started to get this weird feeling, and no matter what I did, I couldn't shake it. And this feeling, it just kept growing and growing until it became a pounding in my head. I felt terrible about what I had done. And for what? Just to get a little power? I could barely stand myself. All I wanted was retribution for what I had done. I couldn't sleep at night because King Duncan and Banquo's faces would appear every time I closed my eyes. I tried to wash their blood from my hands, but it wouldn't come off. It stayed there as a constant reminder of the evil deeds I had committed. I no longer wanted the power or fame that came with the title queen. All I wanted was forgiveness and retribution for what I had done to those poor souls. But no one here could give it to me. No one could say that what I had done was okay. So I did the reasonable thing. I repaid their lives with my own.
So, Mr. Gatsby, how have you been doing in hell?
Well, living like this is really tough. It really makes me appreciate the cool weather that we had in New York. The people here are awful. Murderers, thieves, cheaters, and an unsavory lot. Maybe someday someone I know on Earth will join me.
What were your ambitions and desires?
Well, as a man who had everything he could ever want, every material item he ever wanted, what I wanted most was company and love. I tried to combat my loneliness by throwing huge parties and inviting famous people to my house, but not one of them was a true friend. The only person I ever met who truly cared for me was Nick Carraway. Like me, he was alone in West Egg and looking for someone to be a friend. He didn't care about what I did for money or where I came from. He just cared about me. That's it.
How did you achieve your goals?
Well, Nick Carraway helped me with more than just friendship. It turns out his cousin, Daisy, was the same woman that I had fallen in love with 4 years before I had made any money. And she was the reason that I wanted to be wealthy in the first place, so that I could live up to her standards. So I set out to change myself for the better. And Nick helped me rekindle the old fire, old sport.
Do you have any regrets?
Well, I regret that I became so immoral over those 4 years. I cheated, lied, and stole, and almost ended the marriage of a married woman by having an affair with her. On top of all this, I let Daisy drive my car while she was upset, which led to the death of a young woman. I was so blinded by what I wanted that I couldn't see how what I did affected other things. It only took a trip for me to hell to realize it.
So Macbeth, how has hell been treating you?
It's not that bad. There's no throne to aspire to, so I'm perfectly happy.
What were your hopes and desires in life?
Well, I would think my life has two parts. At the beginning of my life, my desire was to please the throne, be a loyal subject to my king. I was not very ambitious. I was happy as a Thane of Glamis. I was a very good warrior and fought to protect Scotland from the Norwegians. But the witch's prophecy changed everything. My wife began to ridicule and deride me. She questioned my manhood, and I couldn't stand for that. So my new desire was to fulfill my manhood, become a king at whatever cost. So my ambitions changed. I became ruthless and killed many people. Sadly, this led to my downfall. Macduff, filled with vengeance, beheaded me and my life was over. But in hell, my life is better. I have nothing to aspire to, and no one to mock me. I desire nothing and am perfectly content the way I am.
Do you think you became a real man?
My actions certainly displayed my supposed masculinity, but deep down, to be honest, I don't think I really lived up to my wife's standards of a man. She wanted a man who was powerful and controlling, and my inability to keep the throne is evidence that I never achieved real masculinity.
So, Troy, how are things going for you down here?
This place hotter than an oven. I hate it down here. The food's bad. Everybody's mean. It sucks. Blue, that damn dog, made it to heaven.
So, is there anything you wish you had done differently in your past life?
Man, I just wish I could have played more baseball. I mean, I really didn't get to do what I wanted to do. I mean, I just desired to live my life to the fullest. And I don't really think I got to do that. I mean, I would work my ass off all day just to go home to a wife that would yell at me. I mean, my son Corey, he didn't respect me. I mean, all I ever wanted was for him to respect me like his daddy, and he just never would. Man, all I wanted to do was have a place where I could unwind. And, I mean, I didn't have that. And when I finally found it, it just led to me getting a daughter that I didn't want. I let my ambitions get the best of me.
Your desires and ambitions got you into a lot of trouble, didn't they?
Yes, sir, they did. But if I hadn't chased after any of my desires and ambitions, I would have lived an unsatisfying life. Instead, I lived an unsatisfying life, but there were some glimpses that I truly enjoyed and that I'm truly thankful for.